The manhunt is over. A year and a half after a brutal murder here at City College, the alleged killer is behind bars. We have all the details from both sides of the border.
And the family of Diana Gonzalez reacts to the arrest of her alleged killer. We sat down with Diana's mother and we'll bring you the emotional interview.
Plus, tragedy for family members coping with a helicopter crash in Yuma that kills 6 local Marines. We'll bring you the story on what happened.
Snowstorms hit Chicago today. I'll have more on that and tell you how it's looking here in San Diego. Newscene starts right now.
Hello, welcome to this edition of Newscene. I'm Alice Kim.
And I'm Laura Kaplan-Neito. Thank you for joining us.
October 2010, the unthinkable left everyone in shock here at City College. 19-year-old nursing student Diana Gonzalez was stabbed to death inside a men's bathroom on campus. The suspect, her estranged husband Armando Perez, was also the father of her 10-month-old daughter. Perez had been stalking Diana for months, and despite a restraining order and a 3-day kidnapping and rape, prosecutors declined to file charges. Tonight we begin extensive coverage, beginning with the suspect's arrest. The emotional confrontation comes after the victim's mother, who was not expecting to come face to face with her daughter's alleged killer. With more than a year of freedom, Armando Perez, a fugitive wanted in connection with the death of his estranged wife Diana Gonzalez, has been arrested in downtown Tijuana this week. His arrest made front-page headlines in almost every newspaper sold in Tijuana. The images show a leaner and bruised Perez. Police say he fought hard not to give up the free life he had for months.
Gente que teníamos nosotros de civil, undercover, ahí lo localizaron. Es un hombre joven de 37 años, bastante fuerte. Se resistió a que lo detuviéramos. Hay fronteras en Tijuana. Hay muchas situaciones, pero para los criminales no hay fronteras. Y para ellos se les hace fácil venir o ir. Entonces los policías, las agencias de seguridad de California y las de Tijuana y Baja California, tenemos que trabajar muy cercanos y con mucha comunicación.
Cops say he had 8 to 9 different living locations and was working as a DJ, a mechanic, and a carpenter to survive. Tijuana authorities continued to follow tips of Perez's whereabouts, eventually leading them to his favorite clubs and a taco joint.
Entonces pusimos gente de inteligencia en los tacos, pusimos gente que para empezarlo a buscar, y el día sábado, aproximadamente a las 2 de la mañana, tuvimos la información que estaba por la Avenida Revolución y que iba a cobrar un dinero cerca de la calle Séptima y Revolución.
A case with no closure for 16 long months. Questions can now be asked and answered as first steps to recovery can be made to make up for the loss the family had to accept on the tragic night. As far as what will happen next to Armando Perez, the information on the extradition process and what the U.S. Marshal has to say, we'll have more on that later in the newscast.
Diana's family has been living with her tragic death for over a year, but with Perez now in custody, they are facing new emotions. Newscene asked Diana's mother how she carries on.
A nightmare for almost any parent is the thought of losing a child. This scenario became a tragic reality for the family of slain San Diego City College student Diana Gonzalez. Now just over a year since her daughter's brutal murder, Concepcion Carranza is coping the best way she knows how.
Diario rezo y estoy, Dios mío, ayúdame, tú sabes.
Talking to Diana also helps.
Hablo con Diana y le pido a ella que me ayude.
But her most compelling reason for facing each day is caring for the 2-year-old toddler Diana left behind, Crystal.
Cristal para mí es como mi hija. Yo le digo a mi esposo que si no la tuviera ella, a lo mejor yo no estuviera aquí sentada, aquí donde estoy.
One person Carranza doesn't talk about is Crystal's father, Armando Perez, her ex-son-in-law, the man accused in Diana's slaying.
No, pues nomás siempre, ahorita que ya estoy más tranquila, pues si quisiera pues golpearlo y hacerle cosas, pero el día que lo vi en el momento, pues nomás, no sé, nomás pensé en decirle que por qué le hizo eso a Diana. Digo, pues mi hija no era mala, ella era una muchacha buena.
The arrest may bring justice, but it also forces Carranza to relive the pain. As far as Armando's fate is concerned, Carranza is clear.
A mí me gustaría que le dieran la pena de muerte.
This feeling poses a conflict and is something she talks to God about.
Yo sé que yo no soy quien para juzgar, ¿verdad? Ahí está Dios, pero yo pienso que como dice el dicho, muerto el perro, se acabó la rabia.
With Cecilia Castro, this is Alex Miller-Pastore, Newscene.
Deanna's family also expressed relief that with her alleged killer now caught, any other potential victims will now be spared.
Now that Armando Perez is in custody, the process to close this case has only just begun. Perez is in Mexico City awaiting the extradition process, and Tijuana police handed the suspect over to the country's federal investigation agency earlier this week. Once he goes through a court process and hearing in Mexico, he will be legally extraditable. The supervisory deputy U.S. Marshal explained where the case goes from that point.
We were going to send some deputy U.S. Marshals down to Mexico City to fly him back to San Diego, at which time he'll be booked into county jail and go through the homicide proceedings here.
Deputies say it can take just a few months or up to years before the suspect is back in the U.S. If convicted, Perez faces life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Throughout the week, City College students have been buzzing about Perez's arrest. They've also expressed mixed feelings about campus safety. Amanda Brandeis reports.
After 16 months, a family and a school has finally found some closure from the arrest of Armando Perez, who's accused of taking the life of his estranged wife, Deanna Gonzalez. It happened on City College campus.
It breaks my heart that such a thing could happen in such a public place.
The tragedy has affected many City College students. It reminds them that this could happen to anyone.
It saddened me as a parent and as a mother.
Anybody, anywhere, it just depends.
But the capture of Perez has eased some of that anger and sadness.
I feel that justice has been served and that it's going to be nice for her family to know that he's not out there doing this to other people.
Many students say that despite the tragedy, they feel safe on campus.
Things like that can happen anywhere. It's not just because it was the school campus. You have to be aware of your surroundings and at nighttime use the buddy system.
After the incident, important safety changes were made.
This is the restroom where Deanna Gonzalez was murdered. Back then, this area was barely lit.
We're an amazingly safe place. We have an incredibly low crime rate here, and it's almost all petty. No crimes against people, no assaults or batteries, rapes, those sorts of things that just don't occur.
President Burgess believes the district has a first-rate police force. Although budget cuts have impacted the school, they have not affected police operations. He also talks about ongoing renovations in infrastructure projects. In addition to enhancing lighting, there are plans to install security cameras. But changes take time. It will be 3 years until everything is complete. And despite all of the improvements, some students have doubts.
It's really in the middle of downtown. There's people, it's open campus. Anyone can come in, anyone can come out. Sometimes it makes me think, should I take classes in the morning? Should I take classes at night?
Jeanette Gonzalez, Deanna's sister, says she would fear going to City College.
My dad, when he will go to pick up my sister, he said there was nobody there. Like, he will never see any police, nobody there. So, to me, like, even if I will think of going to, to college, I will think about it like 10 times now, to go there.
Deanna's story can never have a happy ending. Although she could not be saved, changes being made now have the potential to help many in the future. Reporting for Newscene, I'm Amanda Brandeis.
City officials urge students to use the campus escort service at night. That number is 619-388-3461.
And after the break, the Vagina Monologues are coming to City College and raising awareness about domestic violence.
Also, 7 Marines are dead after a tragic accident. Find out what went wrong.
Rob, what's up? How's it going? Guys, this is my cousin Rob from Michigan.
What's up?
He's a teenager.
Hey, what's up? All right. Oh, hey, you want to slow down?
No.
Really? Huh. Hey, you know what a beautiful animal is? A horse. A horse. Yeah. Beautiful mane. Unbelievable muscle tone. When it runs, it looks like poetry in motion. It's the most beautiful thing on earth. And sometimes when you feed a horse, its lips will tickle your hand. Just tickle it just a little bit. It makes me giggle sometimes. I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you don't slow down, I'm gonna bite into your head like an apple. And thanks, guys, for listening to my horse stories. I could talk about ponies all day long.
To help save women who are victims of domestic violence like Deanna Gonzalez, an award-winning play hopes to promote awareness. Tonight at the Seville Theater, the Vagina Monologues opens for a 2-night benefit show. Newscene's Helen Haas has the story.
E. Vensler wrote the Vagina Monologues to highlight the injustices done to women around the globe. The show is not just educational, it's also entertaining. Rebecca Ensley is the director.
The whole point of the show is to promote activism and to make you active in your community in stopping violence against women and stopping domestic violence and ending abuse once and for all.
All proceeds from the show are given to charity. The only stipulation is that it must help stop violence against women. Last year, the money was deposited into a college fund for Deanna Gonzalez's daughter, Crystal. But now there's a change.
And this year, we're going to give half of that money to her college fund, and the other half is going to go to Diana's family, her parents, who are trying to gain custody of Crystal. And it's really important because they have a lot of lawyer fees that they need to pay in order to gain custody.
The show gives audiences a chance to reach out and directly help Deanna Gonzalez's family to move forward. It's a way to make a difference because by breaking the cycle of violence, there is always the chance to begin again.
The vagina makes you a woman and ultimately it gives life.
Helen Haas, Newscene.
The Vagina Monologues run tonight and tomorrow. Tickets can be purchased at brownpapertickets.com.
Marine deaths. 6 Marines from Camp Pendleton and 1 from an Arizona base were killed when 2 helicopters collided this week in Yuma. Military members aboard the Cobra and Huey were training for deployment to Afghanistan. All were killed in a mid-air crash during a nighttime training exercise. Many lives have been claimed over the last several years in accidents involving the same type of aircraft.
Protests in Afghanistan turned deadly today as fallouts continue. At least 8 people were killed and 27 wounded during the protests outside the U.S. consulate. 2 U.S. NATO troops were also killed earlier this week. Officials say they were killed by a man in an Afghan National Army uniform. The violence is allegedly revenge against Western troops who burned Qurans belonging to Taliban prisoners. Yesterday, President Barack Obama wrote a letter to President Karzai apologizing for the unintentional event.
A multinational coalition is seeking a ceasefire in Syria today. 70 countries make up the Friends of Syria and include the U.S., Turkey, and European and Arab nations. They want the Syrian government to allow international aid groups access to besieged areas of the country. More than 7,000 have died in the fighting there since last March. Most of them were civilians.
Gas prices continue to rise, the highest point this year. After a 1.6-cent increase, a gallon of gas in San Diego County is nearly $4.08. The average price of gas is now 20 cents more than last week. On Monday, prices went up, adding to the spike over the past month. Analysts believe that the closure of some California refineries and crude oil costs could be the reason for the rise.
GOP hopefuls Mitt Romney and Rick Santorum are neck and neck in the race for the Republican presidential nomination. All four candidates squared off in a fiery debate Wednesday night in Arizona. Santorum and Romney took shots at each other on the issue of health care reform. Gingrich focused his attack on President Obama when abortion was brought up. Ron Paul chimed in during the debate over immigration.
It would be a difficult task for someone who had the model for Obamacare, which is the biggest issue in this race of government control of your lives, to be the nominee of our party. You would take that issue completely off.
If we had said no to Arlen Specter, we would not have Obamacare. So don't look at me. Take a look in the mirror.
It is President Obama who, as a state senator, voted to protect doctors who killed babies who survived the abortion. It is not the Republicans.
Why isn't, if an illegal comes across the border and they go on private property, why isn't that trespassing?
Voters in Michigan and Arizona head to the polls next week.
San Diego Mayor Jerry Sanders announced a city budget surplus Thursday. For the fiscal year ending June 2012, the city's budget surplus is projected to be around $16.5 million. As a result, libraries and recreation centers will now have longer hours of operation. And $8 million from the budget surplus will be set aside to cover possible deficit in the 2012 budget.
The number of San Diegans receiving county-funded treatment for heroin has increased by 57%, and users between the ages of 18 and 25 have risen by 229%. The San Diego County Health and Human Services Agency says many heroin users are switching from OxyContin because of the drop in price. Treatment is available for anyone who needs it. For help, call 888-724-7240.
A Mexican prison riot that was created to cover a jailbreak has left evidence of a corrupt system. Last Sunday, 44 inmates were killed while 30 prisoners related to the Zetas gang escaped from the Apodaca jail. The prison director and 28 agents are accused of being involved in this incident.
There are new developments tonight in the shipwreck off the coast of Italy. 8 more bodies have been found on one of the passenger decks. The death toll now stands at 32. Investigators reportedly found traces of cocaine in Captain Francesco Schettino's hair. He is facing manslaughter charges for abandoning ship. 4 ship officers and 3 Italian cruise officials are also under investigation. 11 people are still missing.
One of the world's most famous astronauts reaches a 50-year milestone this week.
And Mardi Gras hits the streets of the gas lamp. We jump into the mix of one crazy party night.
Well, hello.
Hi. My internet connection's acting up. Do you know anything about hotspots?
You know, if you angle yourself 45 degrees to the north, your computer's Wi-Fi card will extrapolate the router signal more efficiently.
Hit enter. It's going to come up with a dialog box.
I'm home, and I love it. I'm home where I belong. I'm home, and I love it. I'm home. where I belong.
It's always nice to come home. But these days, many Americans are at risk of foreclosure and losing their homes. Making Home Affordable is a free program from the U.S. government that has already helped over 1 million struggling homeowners like these. And we want to help you.
I'm home. I'm home. And I love it. I'm home. I'm home.
Find out now what your options are. Go to makinghomeaffordable.gov or call 1-888-995-HOPE. The sooner you act, the better chance we can help you.
I'm home. I'm home. Where I belong.
Roger, the clock is operating. We're underway.
This week marks a major milestone for one of the most celebrated astronauts. 50 years ago, John Glenn became the first American ever to orbit the Earth, and he did it not once, but 3 times. His 1962 spacecraft was called Friendship 7 and launched as part of NASA's Mercury fleet. In 1998, at age 77, he returned to space as the oldest person ever to leave the Earth's atmosphere. The 90-year-old Glenn and M. Scott Carpenter are now the last living members of the famous Mercury 7 team.
Thousands of people came out to celebrate the 18th annual Mardi Gras at the Gaslamp Quarter. Mardi Gras is also known as Fat Tuesday, the traditional name for the day before Ash Wednesday. It is now one of the city's hottest celebrations of the year. And for some, like San Diegan Alicia Williams, it brought back a sense of what's home in New Orleans.
Yes, I chose this one. My family died in New Orleans with that storm.
Tragic.
So I came here and I'm liking it. Actually, it's a tear-dropping because it reminds me of my family.
With a night full of self-indulgence and enticing performances, Fifth Avenue came to life with a grand parade to top off the night.
To honor the closing of Black History Month, San Diego City College will be hosting a 3-day event next week. The celebration includes guest speakers who will share their stories of struggle and achievement in the Black Power movement. The event kicks off on Monday and wraps up on Wednesday with dance and musical performances, reaching out to the community.
After an impressive 20-7 record this season, the men's Knights basketball team is taking on a familiar rival. Tonight, they will play the Saddleback Gauchos in the second round of Southern California Regionals. The two teams played each other in the season opener back in November 7th, but the Knights suffered an 84-65 loss. This isn't unfamiliar territory for Coach Mitch Charlins, though the Knights made it all the way to quarterfinals the 2008-2009 season, but lost by 1 basket. Coach Charlins was named the Pacific Coach Athletic Conference Coach of the Year. Stephen Lamar was awarded Player of the Year and was named to the All-PCAC First Team along with teammates Menace Steffens and Marvin Sykes.
And anyone on the road this morning had to have noticed the fog rolling in. So Ashley Sanchez is here to fill us in on our weekend weather forecast. What's up, Ashley?
Laura. I can't believe how much fog was on the roads this morning, and I want to come back to that, but first, I have some video over through the Midwest. Storms are sweeping it. So I do have some video of Chicago. Let's roll that. Take a look at those icy and rainy streets. Those are the crews in the morning sweeping up the snow before it piled up. Hundreds of flights were canceled this morning, so if you were planning on traveling there, your plans probably went right out the door. So let's take a look at our national map. I do want to explain this storm to you because not only are they in the Midwest, but they are sweeping all over on the East Coast. Look at all of that white and purplish color. That is all snow. So I want to take a look up in New York and all the way up to Maine. That is all snow, so it's going to be coming down hard there. It's going to be reaching up to probably 4 to 6 inches. Now, as we move down, you can see Virginia. Doesn't look snowy there, but they do have high tornado alerts, so do not travel there this weekend. And then if you move down towards Florida, there's a humid temperature and warm temperatures, and that is going to mix with this cold front coming through. All that green is what's going on right there. If we go to our next map, let's take a look at our local temps. You can see over here on the West Coast, take a look up in San Francisco, it's sunny at 58. Now coming down towards Los Angeles, it's at 63. It's going to be in that range down here in San Diego. You could see all that red. That's it heating up here. So it will be nice and sunny, so head to the beach because next week it's going to be stormy on Monday, and then Sunday it's a little bit cloudy, but nothing to ruin your weekend plans. Now if we take a look over here, you can see sunny. We will be having some fog though, so that's going to suck for tomorrow morning, but it's not going to ruin any plans. So you will be able to go outdoors and no problem. It's going to clear up probably by noon. So we're good there. Let's head to Saturday's forecast. So let's see how it's going to look Saturday. You can see that on the coast, it's nice and sunny. So please head to the beach. Highs are at 67 degrees. Low is at 42 degrees. I'm sorry, that's 52. Inland is sunny. High temps are at 73. Lows are at 46. The mountains are sunny, and they're also pretty warm this weekend at 62 degrees. Lows are at 43. The desert, of course, is nice and sunny. Highs are at 82 degrees, and lows are at 49. So pretty much that's the weather, but all I can say is I love living here in San Diego. Like we're so lucky compared to those East Coast storms.
Oh yeah, no, I am grateful every day, and especially for, I was thinking that this weekend is Oscars weekend, right?
Perfect LA weather in the 60s, nice and sunny.
Yeah, all those starlets will be happy they get to wear their strapless gowns.
Exactly, and then we can be barbecuing while we watch.
There you go.
You're gonna be inviting me.
Thank you.
You guys are both invited over, okay?
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Ashley.
President Obama is showing off his pipes again. This time, the president joined rocker Mick Jagger and B.B. King for an impromptu performance of Sweet Home Chicago.
Come on. I heard you singing Al Green. So you done started something, you gotta keep it up now. You can do it. Come on. You can do it. Come on with it. Woo! Come on, baby, don't you wanna go? Same old place, sweet home Chicago.
The performance is part of a PBS television special celebrating Black History Month, which is airing February 27th. Well, isn't he a charmer?
You know, say what you want. I mean, regardless of your politics, it's kind of cool to have a president who can sing.
You know, I never actually heard any of our presidents sing, so that was actually the first time I saw him.
Oh, that's something to brag about.
All right, thanks for joining us for this edition of Newscene. I'm Alice Kim.
And I'm Laura Kaplan-Neito. Thank you very much for joining us.